Hello and welcome to another Forged in Ire video. So I've gotten some comments from a few different people, and I thought about doing this already. I just didn't film it in the beginning. But the questions were regarding how do I get into forging? Or how do I get into bladesmithing? Or like, where do I start? So I wanted my channel to really be about helping newcomers, fresh blood, come into the craft and get started. So I've got a couple videos out on like things to look for with your forge, but I haven't really gone much further than that. Now, one of the pivotal pieces that any bladesmith, blacksmith, any of it, one of the pivotal pieces of equipment that you need is the hammer. So where do you acquire this? Well, you can purchase a hammer for $200 if you've got the money and you've got the budget, and that's fine with you. I, however, did not, and I think most people who are getting into the craft, their budget is kind of limited. So I wanted to do a video where I showed how I got my hammer. Now, I've already done one side of my hammer to have it suitable for forging, and I forgot to film it, and I kicked myself for that. However, in the process of doing another project, I had to, I ended up messing up the flat face of my hammer. So I've already got another one that has a flat face, so I'm fine with that. But I figured now was a perfect opportunity for me to show you guys how you take a store-bought hammer and turn it into a forging hammer. Now, there's another prominent YouTuber out there who has showed how to take like a $7 hammer and turn it into a $200 hammer. That's not quite what I'm doing. I'm doing a video where you take a store-bought hammer and turn it into a forging hammer, period. Whatever value is attributed to it, whole nother beast entirely. This is just about getting the tool to do the job. So I'm going to grab my hammer and show you what I was talking about. Alright, so this was the face that I already did. This was the face that got messed up. So I just got done refacing it, and I realized, why not do a little video where I explain how you go about this. So the key piece of information that anybody should keep in mind is a forging hammer, a hammer used for moving metal and blacksmithing/bladesmithing, has a rounded face. Not only that, it has multiple radii of roundness across the face of the hammer. So on the very top of the hammer, it's got a very shallow radius, and as you go towards the edges, the radii get smaller and smaller. So how do you go about putting that into the hammer? Well, first you need one. So you can get one at any hardware store. I suggest getting a driving hammer. They're usually used for like putting stakes in the ground for camping or what have you. You could also get a big sledgehammer if you want, but if you're going to be swinging the thing, I'd suggest getting a handheld hammer and a hammer that is within a realm of weight that you would be comfortable swinging repeatedly for a day or multiple days. So I went with a 3-pound hammer. That's about average. My other, with the flat and the cross peen on it, is 2.5 pounds, and I may acquire another hammer that's a little bit heavier. Point is, when you've got a hammer, you need to start thinking about how you want to take away metal from the hammer, because that's what we're doing. Take away metal from the hammer and leave metal that will be the face of the hammer, the new face of the hammer. So I'm going to do some layout lines, and I'll show you guys how I do that. And then after that, I'm going to take it over to this mamma jamma with a 60 grit belt, and we'll start grinding in the face. So let's move over to the layout lines, and then we'll go from there. And then if you wanted to, you could do another one in the center, making a target kind of pattern. Now, each one of these rounds aren't quite a chamfer, but that should all be about the same level across the hammer. See what I mean? Okay. Now that we've got our basic layout lines, let's go grind it. Back at the belt grinder, so we're going to go and put in these layout lines so that we get a rounded profile. So it's not flat, but has a rounded profile. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Just as a final bit, we did get the face of the hammer more or less rounded. I had to put it to some use already because I was running another project at the same time as filming this video. But this was the first side that I rounded off, and this is the second, so it's still kind of flat, but you can tell that I've put some radii on it. So the only difference between this and how far you could go is how much time you put on the belt grinder, and yes, you can make that work with an angle grinder. It just takes a lot more care. An angle grinder will remove more material quickly, so you just need to be cautious about it. But this is the how you can get away with a budget forging hammer. You don't need to spend $200 on it if you don't have the budget. When you're looking for a hammer to work with, just make sure that you get one with a solid construction. The other video that I have seen about turning a $7 hammer into a $200 forging hammer took the handle off and remade everything. You don't need to do that. Just make sure that the handle construction and joining section to the hammerhead is solid. So other than that, thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe to any of these. They really help the channel out. And stay tuned for the next one. I'll have the full series uploaded as I make them. So I'll touch on them as I'm working them. So, thank you again. Keep forging.